Good afternoon, my friends. Happy Wednesday. The doctor is in the house. Welcome back to another episode of To Your Health with Dr. G on this great Wednesday, kicking off, I just love this topic, my men's health series. I mean, we're going to be about it. A very successful women's health series last month, and I'm excited to now do it for the fellas. So, fellas, this whole month is for you. We're going to talk about getting you motivated, getting you engaged, and having the right mindset to be as healthy as possible and to live productive and fulfilling lives. Because that's what it's all about with us as guys. But hey, I'm so excited to kick off this series. I mean, my guests today are fierce, and we're going to bring some to kick things off. And today I'm so excited to welcome everybody back. We're kicking off nutritional and fitness foundations, part one, again, a 4-part series coming with you strong, coming at you real strong this month. I'm just so excited to be here, and my panel is fierce. You're going to meet them in a quick minute. Today, I'm so excited to welcome everybody back, and we got one of my good colleagues, Dr. Jabbar, he's back on the show. You've seen him before, and my other colleagues, Darcy Johnson and Kendrick Butler. You're going to meet them in a quick minute, but I'm so excited to talk about men's health, something that's like kind of important to me. You know, as a guy, we got to talk about this kind of stuff. Guys, sometimes we don't talk enough. And so we're going to start to create that forum here. And really what I want the guys out there to do that are listening today, I want you guys to really make a choice. Right now, we wake up every morning, you have that opportunity to know that you have that opportunity to make a change. But making a change involves making a choice. And so I want to make sure that at the end of the day, you have the resources to be as successful as possible in your health. And when you have success in your health, you're more than likely to have success in your life. So we're going to preach today, but we're going to get things going. So again, of course, welcome back to Your Health with Dr. G. You're listening here live on Facebook. You're also listening on IntellectualRadio.com. Check me on my website, www.drmarkgomez.com. You know my handles on social media at To Your Health, DRG. So before we start the show, I got to hit you guys with a quick disclaimer. On this Wednesday, all about the disclaimer. Here we go. The content of To Your Health with Dr. G is for informational and entertainment purposes only, and that the content is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, and or treatment. Further details can be found at www.toyourhealthwithdrg.com/disclaimer. So here we are, guys. Hey, fellas, I mean, listen, this month, it's all about you. And for the ladies out there that are watching, grab your man, grab your brother, grab your husband, grab your boyfriend. Let's get healthy together. So again, today's topic, we're going to talk a little bit about, again, nutritional and fitness foundations. So let's go ahead and meet the panel. So here's what I do. Every week, I gather a group of experts. Those of you that have been following us, you know how the show works. But those that are new, every week I gather a group of health experts, and we talk about health. We talk about a topic. We try to set the record straight. There's a lot of misconceptions out there. Health can sometimes be very misleading. And as a physician, my colleague Dr. Jabbar can talk about it in a second too, but and I'm sure my other guests can talk about it too, but a lot of times you spend part of your time doing your job, but doing your job is dispelling myths. And so we want to set the record straight. That's why I created this show in the first place, to gather a group of experts, leverage my network of experts, and let's talk the real talk, and let's get the facts out there, and again, live healthy together. So without further ado, I want to introduce my guests. So my first guest, I've known him for a long time. Holy smokes. And he's back on the show, so you're no longer a rookie on this show.
Right.
Hey, we're going to keep it real with our talking today. It's going to be great. But I'm so happy to have you back. I've known you for forever. We were in residency together at Loyola, and we've been friends, colleagues. You've seen a ton of my patients and everything and what you do. I mean, we've done so many things together. So I have to welcome you back to the show. So please let me welcome and introduce you guys to my good friend, Dr. Zaid Jabbar. He's a double board certified internist and medical bariatrician. He's with DuPage Medical Group. Check him out, www.dupagemedicalgroup.com. Dr. Jabbar, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Dr. G. It's great to be back, and love to talk to you always. You've been always very inspirational. You love your patient. You really talk about not only how to cure illness, but also, most importantly, prevention. And that's what I love about you, is you like prevention. And we know that prevention is the best medicine. So Glad to be here, Dr. G.
Excellent. Please tell us a little bit about your background, where you did your medical school, and where you did your training.
Yeah, so I went to medical school at the University of Wisconsin in Madison. So I'm sorry to your audience, that makes me a Packer fan. Sorry, but
that's all right. We still love you.
That's right. So and then of course went to residency at Loyola. I've been practicing internal medicine and weight loss for the past 10 plus years, and very passionate about prevention. And one of the reasons that I got into medicine to begin with was my mother is a physician, and also my dad had a heart attack at the age of 39. Wow. So I was about 4 years old. So growing up, prevention to me was very important. So glad to be here.
Well, this theme of men's health definitely hits right home when you talk about your dad. But we're going to dive in on this even more. So thank you, Dr. Jabbar. My next guest, I tell you what, this is just a guy working what he does. And, our paths crossed recently, but this is going to be a budding friendship, a budding collaboration. And so I want to introduce my good friend. The champ is in the house, y'all. My good friend, Mr. Darcy Johnson. Again, he's got a resume, so I'm gonna read it to you. So here we go. Darcy Johnson, New York Giants Super Bowl champion, entrepreneur and owner, Fit Speed Chicago. Check him out, www.fit-speed.com. Darcy, welcome to Your Health with Dr. G.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I'm very excited to be here today.
Hey, it's the pleasure's all mine. I'm glad that we connected and everything. But again, when I was putting this panel together, I knew I had to have you on this thing because after we connected late last year, I go, man, you could talk passionate about what it is. I mean, you are a gentleman who's had to perform at the highest levels of functioning and ability. And so this is just up your alley. We're talking about nutrition and fitness foundations, correct?
Absolutely. And health and wellness is all about health and wellness. And every day I go out, I fight for this, trying to get a Super Bowl and helping others maximize their health and wellness.
Yes.
Hey, I like it. Well, thank you. I can't wait to dive deeper on some topics today with you. So thanks, Darcy, for coming out. My last guest, he is fierce, and I'm paying him money to kick my butt. That's how it is. No, but we connected through Darcy, and after my next guest and I connected, I was like, listen, hey, this is gonna be also a budding relationship, collaboration, whatever we got to do. I mean, talk about a like-minded individual. I'm like texting you like every day on things. I know, it's crazy. I know it's like a man crush or something like that. So anyways, but we're having a great time. So I want to introduce my last guest today, Mr. Kendrick Butler. He's personal trainer and general manager at Fit Speed Chicago. Check him out at www.fit-speed.com. Kendrick, welcome to the show.
Hey, Dr. G, thanks for having me here, man. I really, really appreciate the opportunity. And you're right. Ever since we met, it's been a budding relationship, not only just colleagues, but a friendship as well.
Excellent. Well, I can't wait to talk about things, too, from your end and how you see nutrition and fitness and what you do. And I will tell you guys this. Kendrick, he is fierce. Don't let this guy take his shirt off because, I mean, he'll show some shaped muscles. I mean, there's no doubt about that. So I'm trying to aspire. I think we're all going to try to aspire to get to that level. There's no doubt. So anyways, but now that you guys have met the panel, again, I want to keep this as a good conversation. Again, you guys are going to hear some things today that will inspire you. You're going to hear their stories. You just met them. They're all about health and well-being and trying to get you to reach your goals. And for men, we want to create as much engagement as possible. There's no doubt that last month, the ladies, they brought it. The engagement factor was real. And so I want to make sure, guys, we got to get you engaged. We got to talk about this. Again, we don't talk enough, but this is a great forum to do so. So what I want to do, how the show works, you guys have met the panel, and so now I'm going to pick their brains because why not? It's like back in my days when I was in medical school, and I used to get asked all the questions. I get to ask all the questions to my panelists. And I want you guys at home that are listening or that are found us here live on Facebook, live on IntellectualRadio.com. Listen, I want you guys to get some of this information and apply it. But at the end of the day, I still want you to go see your doctor. Men as general just don't go to the doctor enough. There's no doubt about that. So we want to inspire those guys out there, ladies that are listening, grab your men, get them to the doctor. That's the best thing I can say. Having a good relationship with your primary care doctor is paramount. So how it works, I'm going to ask these questions. So again, we're talking about the chief complaint. And so when people come and see us in the medical office, this is a medical show still. We talk about people coming for a reason. We call it the chief complaint. So here it is, the chief complaint / question of the hour. What are the necessary steps for men to be successful in nutrition and fitness? So I'm going to start out this with Dr. Jabbar. So why don't you tell me this, Dr. Jabbar? I'm going to ask you we're going to get right into it. So I commonly get asked by my guys, what is the best way to lose weight? What are your thoughts on that when you get asked that question? Because I know you get asked that question every day.
Yes, and that is, I can spend a couple hours talking about this, but to me, weight loss is a very difficult and complex scenario. So when we talk about weight loss, yes, we want to look good, fit in our clothes, but the main thing I talk about is that we want to lose weight to be healthy. Okay, so in order to tackle this beast, obesity. And by the way, obesity rates are going through the roof. We're anticipating by 2030, the obesity rate, which sits about 40% now in this country, is going to reach about 50%. So in order for us to tackle this obesity crisis, we have to really take a multidisciplinary approach. And I always talk about the 5 prongs of weight loss. Number one, we have to talk about nutrition. So in order to have not only good weight loss and sustained weight loss, we have to talk about nutrition. And I tell everybody, you are what you eat. At the end of the day, whatever you're going to eat, it's going to be dissolved into molecules and it's going to be part of you. So if you're going to eat crap, you're going to be crap. If you eat good, you're going to be good. So you are what you eat. So nutrition, we talk about nutrition. Number 2, exercise. It is very important to do exercise not only for weight loss, but we know that 90%, as you know, our colleagues, the famous Dr. Al Brown. I learned that from him.
Cardiologist.
Very early on. 90% of weight loss maintenance is exercise. Only 10% is nutrition once you get to lose the weight. So 90% of that is that. But I tell everybody, the reason I want people to exercise as we're trying to lose weight, because of one word, inflammation. With exercise, you get the most powerful anti-inflammatory naturally produced in your body. And it's very intuitive. We exercise, we feel better, and we don't understand why. But because a lot of endorphins, a lot of anti-inflammatory things that get produced. So number 1, nutrition. Number 2, exercise. Number 3, we talk about the body and mind connection. So very important to look at things like meditation and mindfulness. So we talk about that. So nutrition, exercise, behavioral. Then number 4, medications and possible medical conditions. So that's where you got to see the doctors to run some blood tests. And then of course, number 5, we have surgical options. But I strongly believe that if we focus on nutrition, exercise, and meditation and mindfulness and stress reduction, and add a nice medical workup, we can actually do a lot of weight loss.
Excellent. Darcy, let me ask you this question. So when you were training and you were performing, training as a professional athlete, obviously nutrition was paramount to you guys. Obviously you guys have done plenty of exercise, but talk about like the mindset of nutrition, how it worked for you when you had to be able to perform at a high level.
Well, let me be honest with you. When I was, 22 years old, the metabolism was burning like crazy.
There you go. You told it real.
But, the Giants did take the necessary steps to ensure that we would have good nutritionists on site all the time. And it took until my 3rd year for me to realize, wow, coming out of college and being able to work out and eat whatever you want to, eat, and you burn it right off. It was kind of like, wow, why these guys are outperforming me on the field in the NFL, because it's like millimeters from the talent pool. And by you getting enough sleep, by you eating how you're supposed to eat, will give you a competitive edge that I didn't realize until my 3rd year. And then when I finally got on a meal plan and start, like you said, Doc, resting and start eating right, my body started naturally feeling even better than what I was used to. So it's very, very important to have a meal and eat right and do the right things, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing now and trying to get it to the young people before they get to the NFL, before they get to college. So yeah, nutrition is very, very important.
It's interesting. We think about some of the athletes that put their stuff out there for nutrition. You look at the Tom Brady's, who are follow a very strict plan. You look at people that are doing more vegan-based options as a role of anti-inflammatory, whole food-based nutrition, and you're seeing those kind of things. So it's very interesting as you talked about how sometimes that could have been the difference between you getting outperformed by your opponent coming down to nutrition, because you realize, like, hey, we're all probably got the same level of strength.
Yeah,
those other things you talked about.
Absolutely. And it really didn't get popular until maybe around 2013, 2012, when athletes really start. And I credit people like LeBron James from really,
from an investment standpoint.
From an investment standpoint, putting money in their body. I had teammates at the time that I didn't even know was putting $200,000 a year in their body. And I'm like, wow, as a rookie, that's my whole paycheck. So, just to see how the level of commitment and what it takes for you to perform at a very high level was something that I learned, kind of late in my journey in the NFL, but it's something that now I can give back, and the platform I've been given to give back. So I'm very excited about that.
Excellent. Kendrick, let me ask your last year, because you have a personal trainer hat on. And again, I love how we got a variety of opinions on backgrounds talking about the same topic, because we're all, at the end of the day, we're all trying to get to the same goal.
Exactly.
I want my patients to be healthy. You want your clients to be healthy. Dr. G.Radio, you want your patients to lose weight and be healthy and all that stuff. Darcy, you want your patients to your clients to feel engaged, and really you're spreading the message to the next group of, you're spreading the message to everybody, not just the next generation, but you're spreading it to existing generations. Correct. But Kendrick, from your end, from a training standpoint, I always tell people this. If you don't have like the right foundation,
correct,
it's going to be hard for you to get your goals. What's your thoughts on that when you think about blending training with nutrition and things like that?
Of course. Well, the thing about personal training is we have to almost stay in our lane in a way. We don't want to be a physician. We're not physicians. We're not nutritionists or dietitians. But what we do is we hold people accountable, and we can give, great nutrition advice. So the first thing we always do in the very beginning is that we give people homework. We always encourage our clients to give a week's worth of a food log, and not to give them a diet, but to correct certain things that we can help them out with. And a lot of times it's timing. We notice that they have poor habits of, only eating once, maybe 2 times a day. They're not drinking enough water. They're skipping breakfast. But more importantly, they're picking up bad habits that they don't see. So when you see it on paper that, wow, Karen, you on Thursdays and Fridays, you don't eat at all. Why is that?
Yeah.
Well, because I work an additional hour. So now we know, Karen, you don't prepare on Thursdays and Fridays. So now we can get ahead of that, build a plan for you so that you're more successful depending on whatever your schedule is. So that's what we do as trainers, is we have to see where they're at, build a foundation based off of what they're eating, and then give them the proper advice where we stay within our lane as well. Because our job really is to work them out and give them encouragement.
One of the great things I like about having this forum is that we can have an open talk. And I think Dr. Jabbar and I can certainly wear the clinical hats and say, hey, we can't do what we do without connecting with people like you guys that do what you guys do.
It's a collaborative approach.
It's got to be. Because the reality is that we're so siloed, right? And but to get people to there, you're like, we're good at what we do.
Yeah.
You guys are good at what you guys do.
Yes, sir.
And then how do you make that marriage work?
Yeah, we're going to be stronger together, and we have to figure out a way to collaborate. At the end of the day, if everybody does their own silo things, the patient's going to suffer. So as all of us collaborate and have a true multidisciplinary approach, and I strongly believe that, and even though we're a weight loss clinic, but we're really prevention clinic. And at the end of the day, what's the number one killer in this country? Cardiovascular disease. And we have one person dropping from a heart attack every 40 seconds. This is impressive, right? And speaking of guys, and I'm so glad you invited me here, because I strongly believe that guys has a different perspective than women on things. And for example, a lot of times in my weight loss clinic, a woman would, for example, let's say she lost 40, 50 pounds and she gains only 5 or 10 pounds, and it's the end of the world. I mean, she is really upset. I have a guy puts on 30 pounds and it's like, I still look good.
Yeah, guys like, I'm good. And you're like, actually, your BMI's up again.
And my challenge is trying to because all the guys trying to work hard and provide for the family.
Correct.
But I tell the guys, the best way to take care of your family is you have to take care of yourself. If something happens to you, what do you think is going to happen to the family?
That's right.
Right. So we have to we have to challenge the guys out there and my patients to really start looking at really taking care of themselves, because that's the best way to take care of the families.
Well, let me ask this question to Darcy, because here's the reality, as Dr. Jabbar's talking about. We're seeing the rise of chronic disease, and again, you have an athletic mindset on things, but we see the rise of chronic disease. There's no doubt. Obesity, heart disease is still number one killer. Diabetes is up. There's no doubt. And Dr. Jabbar just gave us some very concerning numbers by the year 2030 that basically half of this country is going to be classified as obese. How do we create urgency in our communities, to say, hey, we got to take action now. Like, we're in free fall right now. How do we stop that? Or are we just going to keep going down this pathway? How do we kind of have that mindset to kind of take action now versus take action later?
Well, just to go back what Doc was saying, like, our bodies, I was taught in college, and I had a college coach come in, Eric Green. He was a Steeler fan. He was a Steeler player.
We beat them in the Super. I think the Packers beat them in the Super
Bowl. But it's, your body is your number one corporation. And that's the way we have, that's the mindset we have to have. Like, we want to go work all day. We want to provide for our families as men, but we have to stop and look at ourselves and make sure we're investing in ourselves and taking care of our corporation so we can provide. And it's just having that mindset. It's just having that mindset of provide, that same mindset of, oh, I need to go out and make money and provide for my family. You got to have that same mindset to say, hey, I want to be alive for my family.
Correct.
And with me, like you said, an athlete, and me having to, and I'm going a little bit ahead, but me investing 15 years in football to get where I want to go and play at the highest level. Now I have to transcend that mindset, because before I started this company, I was that person that just worked out. And I always said, I said to Kendrick, I said, it's two different types of working out. It's training and it's working out. Training is when you have something to look forward to. So I want to train so I can get out there on the field and play the best I can play, be the best player I can be. Working out is something that, hey, you just got to want to take care of your body and want to be here and not have high cholesterol and high blood pressure and things like that. So it's you prioritizing your health and your well-being for not only yourself, but for your family. And to just have that mindset is putting the right people around yourself and surrounding yourself around like-minded people that want to live a healthy life. And a lot of times we can't do that. It's hard to find that. Right. So what's the next thing to do? Come to a place like what Darcy Johnson has created to hold ourselves accountable. Come with Doc if you want a diet or a weight loss plan. Put yourself in those positions. Go see Dr. G and get health advice from professionals and people that can help you. Treat your body as like you want to go out there and buy the new clothes for your wife or do that. I mean, you got to prioritize and really put yourself out front. So it's just having an overall life mindset when you're trying to take care of your corporation.
Excellent. I mean, you talk about this engagement thing, and it's like, it comes down to us. It comes down to that choice. We're all dealing with a lot of different stuff. I think for a lot of guys out there, I hear you. I hear it all the time. My patients, Doc, I have to wake up at 4 a.m. I got to work a 12-hour shift. I hear you. But at the same time, as a physician, it's hard to say, hey, some of these kind of things are potentially taken away from your lifespan. And so we want to talk about, again, trying to trying to prioritize and say, yes, I hear you. Can we make little things? We're not asking for the whole world.
Mhm.
I always say, I say we're just trying to little
Yeah.
things. But I am a believer that those small steps cumulatively over time will lead to that long-term benefit, that short-term sacrifice leading to that long-term gain.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, Dr. G, one of the things that, Darcy just jogged my memory. One of the most common examples that I use, I tell the guys, and this resonates with guys because us guys, we like cars. Okay, we love cars. So I don't know why, but we love cars. So I tell my guys, I said, imagine somebody gives you a car and tell you this is the first and last car you're ever gonna have. That's it. Something happens to this car, you're going to be walking for the rest of your life. What are you going to do?
I'm taking care of that thing like
you're
crazy.
Gonna wash it, right? You're going to
Take care
put
of
the
it.
best gas in it, right? You're going to
Maintenance.
maintenance. You're going to make sure That's the same thing with your body. This is the first and last body you're ever gonna have. You got,
Absolutely.
guys seems to get that. So that's how sometimes with guys we have to be creative. So I always say that guys were nothing but an advanced dog.
Yeah.
That's harsh.
So I say so I have to break it down to them. But to me, addressing it in ways that you can relate to the patient. And sometimes
and one other thing, as men, we don't use the power of just asking for help. As men, sometimes we're so macho and prideful, and we don't want to be vulnerable to one another as men. And, we just have to get to that point where, we have to start relying and trusting on men to help encourage us. And, of course, our number one advocate, if we are married, will be our wives to help encourage us. But sometimes our wives, they love us for whatever we are, whatever we do. We just need people around us that's going to absolutely tell us the truth.
Yes.
And truth and love, and be, just be open to change and be open to new things, and I really want to just emphasize that to the men out there that's listening right now. Just find that accountability partner and just go after it.
And there's no doubt it takes, you saying that mindset, it takes a village.
Correct.
And it's true. And I can't do the things that I'm able to do without having my wife as my rock and everything. And I know we all got those people in our lives that have been, whether it's a coach,
100%.
a mentor, your spouse.
Yep.
And for me, it's my wife. And I'm sure guys up and down this panel will say the same thing too. Otherwise, we're all going to be sleeping at a motel together later on tonight.
I concur, Dr.
Yeah. So, but it is the truth. One of the things that one of my guests mentioned a few weeks ago, she talked about, to piggyback on what you were saying, Darcy, about guys won't admit some of their vulnerabilities because we have this kind of stoic thing, or just the pride of the machismo. She mentioned something to me called Starfish. So she said something like, "Dr. G, do you starfish?" And I said, I don't know what that is. Yeah. And so I had to explain it. And so starfishing is literally in the morning when you wake up, you're in bed. If your spouse is there, maybe floor, but you basically say, you open yourself up, your arms extended, your legs open, your head back in kind of a starfish position, and you say, "Hey, I'm vulnerable, but I'm going to accept my vulnerabilities. I'm also going to be resilient in my daily efforts." And so that kind of, for me, when I do that, it helps me set the tone and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm okay. Some things may not go my way. Nobody's got a perfect life. Although sometimes people expect perfection, but there's no such thing." And so I say, "All right, I'm just going to accept this. I'm going to go about my day, but I've set that tone of trying to be resilient, hold my head up high, and try to accomplish my goals." That's what gets me kind of going. What's your thoughts, Kendrick? What are some motivation techniques that you do for your clients, for the guys out there? Or if you have to talk to the ladies and say, tell this to your husband, what are some of the kind of things you do to help create that mindset in guys?
And guys will, first off, what I always do first and foremost, I have to get guys interested in working out again. So a lot of times I don't even attack their diet yet. I don't attack all the things they're doing outside, because I'm trying to build that relationship. I'm trying to build that trust. I'm trying to build that environment where we can be vulnerable to one another. And a lot of times, like you said, with men, it's hard. It takes weeks and weeks and weeks of you being vulnerable to them about a lot of your miscomings and shortcomings, and so that they can kind of receive the same information back to you. So once we hit that point where they're opening up to me more, then they take my advice a lot more kindly, and especially since we've been working as hard as we can for about a month or 2 months in, they'll probably only see marginal results, because they're still not improving the things outside, So from that point, once we make our assessment, hey man, we've been working now for 8 straight weeks. You feel awesome. You're happier. You're thinking a lot better. You're processing information a lot better, but you still haven't lost any weight. You drop maybe a % in body fat. I think it's time to approach what we're doing outside of here. And now they're open.
Yeah.
They're open because they know you, they trust you, and they've seen what 2 months like of not really attacking their diet and caring about that has really gotten them. And it's not really far from a physical standpoint. From a mental standpoint, they've gotten a lot of success from it, and they understand the value of training. So those are little tricks that I do. I also notice, like, a lot of times with men or with women in general, anybody who has a hard time with high body fat and weight issues, they don't drink water. So like little tricks that I do in my sessions is I kind of force my clients to drink water, high-fiving them. All right, go get some water.
Yep.
Like, all right, you did a great job, Mark. Go get some water.
I've been there. Yeah,
So,
you told me to go grab some water. I did go grab it.
Exactly.
With pride and
exactly.
I'll
So
grab
those are the
some water
tools.
then.
Yeah, those are the tools. So it's just really encouraging them, and then when you have their trust, and they trust you from the beginning because they wouldn't have signed up for personal training if they didn't trust you.
Now, I would say there's a reason why somebody chose to show up. When somebody comes into my office, there's a reason why they're there to show up.
Correct.
Same thing with like you guys and Dr. Jabbar could comment on this. There's a reason why they show up, and I'm trying to tease that out. I'm trying to get that information, but and now some guys will openly say, "My wife made my appointment for me." And they might not want to be there, but they come up with this barrier, but you slowly try to break that down and tell them that, hey, I'm here. You can trust me, and I want to help you get to your goals. What's your thoughts about that, Dr. Jabbar? A little bit more commentary about some of the barriers that us as guys typically, as we're trying to now break down some of these barriers.
Yeah, I mean, it's guys, I tell you, I run a weight loss clinic. I would say 80%, 70% women, only 20-30% men.
Correct.
because and a lot of times the men are there because their wives or their doctor asks them to come see me. But one of the interesting things that I break the barriers is that, for example, and this as a physician, it works nicely because I have access to their medical record, and as I'm talking to them, as trying to develop the trust, I try to figure out what they care about. And by trying to learn a little bit about them and trying to learn what they care about, I will tell you, guys will change if they find a discrepancy between they want to get from A to B. And if I can show them there's a discrepancy of way, you're not going to get the A to B if you keep doing this. If they see that discrepancy, they immediately take the barrier out. So you have to almost figure out what they care about and trying to help them to show them that this current way may not be able to get them to see what they want. And another common thing for guys is, for example, I see a guy comes in, I'll give you an example. Today, a 45-year-old guy I saw in clinic, and trying to get them to not exercising, and he's like, well, Dr. Jabbar, I feel fine. Well, he's 350 pounds, but he feels fine. I said, okay, let's look at your problem list. I see you have erectile dysfunction. Now, guys care about that, but
guys do care about that.
So once I start talking about certain topics that guys care about, and I say, hey, listen, if we get you to lose weight, eat better, and exercise, maybe that problem will get better.
Correct.
I'm like, oh my gosh. So these are some of the things I use to break the barriers.
Yeah, we definitely got to keep breaking these barriers. Healthy and fulfilling as possible, but it doesn't work without having this kind of conversation and hopefully trying to get that commitment going. So again, guys, the message out there is that you can do it. So if you're feeling like you're heading down the wrong pathway, do not be afraid to ask for help. That's one of the challenges, guys. But know that there are people out there that are willing to help and just take some of the burden off of you and put it on themselves to help you, give you a chance to be rescued. So let's never discount that kind of thing. One of the things I say in health all the time, there's no such thing as crying wolf when it comes to your health. I'd rather know something than not know anything at all. Because if there's something that I can do that could potentially be prevented, then gosh darn it, we're going to try to do that because we got to do it. That's why we do what we got to do. That's why we get excited about what we do on a daily basis. And I even think like with you, Darcy, and you, Kendrick, you guys get motivated as well. I mean, as busy men, you guys still have a reason to get up in the morning to help change lives and help to inspire that change. So I just appreciate what you guys are doing. I appreciate obviously what Dr. Jabbar is doing. So I want to change topics a little bit. I want to talk a little bit more. I want to just get into a little bit of the nutritional kind of components, and then we're going to get into a little bit of some specific exercise. We're going to end with some myths versus facts. So let me ask this question. So I want to ask this question to Dr. Jabbar. You know, historically we've talked about food plates and you got to eat this and got to eat that and that. Really, the conversation now has changed to really about nutrient density, and versus like, okay, I'm just going to eat the regular way how we used to do it. Can you talk a little bit more about why we're talking about density of things? I did a video not too long ago on my social media, and I was doing a thing with another company and pulling out things out of a bag, and I said, this is dense, this is minerally dense, this is what you need your body. Talk about the raw resources that your body needs. But why don't can you talk a little bit about like why we might be making this shift towards getting away from a classic food plate, for example, and try to get more about mineral focused?
Yes. So the focus now is to try to shift away a little bit from calories, right? So as we're learning more and more about food, calories are a little bit more complex than we thought. And let me just give you, for example, a simple example to kind of illustrate my point. So let's say we have 100 calories of broccoli here, and we have 100 calories of French fries here. Okay, so somebody that says a calorie is a calorie would say, okay, it wouldn't matter if you eat this 100 calories of broccoli versus this 100 calories of French fries. But we know intuitively the 100 calories of broccoli is going to make you lose weight versus, so it's not, you have to go back and say, where are these calories coming from? What's the macro content? The source. So that's one piece. The other piece is that all of us burn food differently. So as it turns out, we have different combustion. So for example, a lot of people don't understand this, but one of the reasons that when they take a bar and they said there's 100 calories on it, the way they got that number is that they put it in a burner and they burn it, and that's the amount of energy that's released from it. So as it turns out, all of us have different burners. We all extract different things from food. So you could eat this 100-calorie bar, but you'd extract 80 out of it, versus somebody else will only extract 20, depending on your gut microbiome and genetics and inflammation. This is where we come in. So focusing on just purely, plate and calories, it's too simplistic. It's a lot more complex. You still have to look at density. You have to look at macronutrient. For example, we know that we need carbohydrates to work out, but most of my patients eat too much carbohydrates and they don't work out. So when we eat too much carbohydrates, what do? We make a hormone called insulin, and insulin has one job: to make fat all day long.
All day long.
So you have to pay attention to, if you're not working out as much, how much carbohydrates you're having. And focus a little bit more on healthier fats. So I talk about, eating the fat. A lot of times I see a lot of my colleagues say, okay, I need you to eat a low-fat diet. For guys, we need testosterone. We need healthier fats, right? So we want the fats in avocado. We want the fats in almonds and walnuts, and we want the fat in salmon. Okay, so not all fat created equally. So you have to look at density. You have to look at macronutrient content, and simply focusing on calories is just too basic, and we have to get beyond that.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, again, I want people to talk to you, and that's a great breakdown, Dr. Jabbar. I mean, really, we want people out there to you can have more higher level discussion with your doc. Talk to your doc, talk to Dr. Jabbar, talk to, if you have a nurse, or your doc might know a registered dietitian that can help out. But there are so many ways to have better nutrient sources and to meet basically what our macronutrient requirements are per day. But I love how we're talking about the density aspect. I mean, I want people to eat minerally dense foods, and you gave a great example about, we know intuitively we should eat that broccoli versus them French fries, right. But those savory fats and things that we have, it's sometimes it's hard to do. But again, we got to make those choices, and it's about making those choices and being consistent with it. And that's going to get you from point A to point B. So let me ask this question. Let me flip it on the fitness side. So Kendrick, let me ask you this question. we're advised, at least from our governing medical bodies, have advised 150 minutes per week of physical activity.
Mm-hmm.
We call it moderate intensity physical activity.
Moderate.
Sometimes that number can seem kind of daunting. If I told a patient that said, "Hey, I need you to exercise 150 minutes a week," they might be like, "What?"
Yeah, definitely.
How are some ways to get, how do you kind of advise your clients to hit some targets on things, or without saying, okay, I need a absolute target of 150? Do you try to break it up, or do you just try to even just make exercise just personal on what they want to do?
A mixture of both, but I would say that the general, consensus is that we try to split it up overall and make it more efficient. But we realize that the average person doesn't want to commit an hour to working out. A lot of times they're not knowledgeable on how to commit an hour to working out. So we try to make things really efficient and easy for them, 30 minutes, and break down that 30 minutes for them so that it's almost like plot to the movie. It's a different level. It's a different level every stage. We have our dynamic warm up. We have our conditioning. We have our core, which is a form of, strength training. And then we might bring out resistance bands. So although it's a complete 30-minute workout, it feels like different stages to them. They don't get bored. So we realize that the average person gets bored because they've never had the habits of really working out. So we develop it with simple things like that for 30 minutes. But I mean, you guys know this, that you have to exercise at least 2 hours, a week, at least 2 hours a week. So, and I would recommend at least 4 hours total, 2 hours of aerobic, activity, and 2 hours of strength training really throughout the week if you want to achieve any type of goals in a quick manner, So I think we were always going to start with efficient 30-minute sessions or 30-minute plans for them to do at their home so that they're always put in a position to win, because, the average person, they're going to make excuses. So if you don't make a plan for them, that's always going to be a winner, then they're probably, the likelihood of them doing it is going to be slim. So that's kind of our main focus on the fitness side of it. And it starts with getting their why, just like you stated earlier, if we can't figure out why they walk through the door, and a lot of times they don't even know it. They just walk through and they're like, oh man, I saw that you guys had a gym here. I was trying to peek my head in here. No, there's a reason why you came in here, So what brings you in today? Oh, I went to a doctor.
What they care about. Yeah,
exactly. And they always went to a doctor, or they found out that their daughter's getting married, or they found out that their brother passed away, from some disease that runs in their family. And these are the things that they're burying underneath. So when you can help them kind of see where they're coming from and what their real why is, again, it leads to them more trust, and then they can engage more into these plans that we give them, whether it be in the facility or at their house.
Excellent. Darcy, let me ask you this question. Coming from a professional athlete perspective, when you're used to training a lot when you're in the season, and then obviously off-season training, but a lot of people are advised to train year round. How do you kind of keep people to stay healthy? Because I feel like if you're training all the time, you actually might be potentially doing more damage if you don't get a chance to rest and recover. What's kind of your approach when you were playing, and kind of what's your approach now, as far as training? Because you train at the highest levels, but you're still training like now. I mean, you're in that 6 a.m. class with me. I mean, you're over there making a huge commute, but you're committed. But again, I know you have the mindset. But how do we kind of get people to continue to train but still stay healthy and still have recovery when they can?
Well, come to facilities like Fit Speed Chicago when people know what they're doing. Just really, like you said, mindset. Just, training, working out should never stop. Just working out and being smart while you do it is the most important thing. And being around professionals that understand how to do that and educating yourself on what to do when you're in your downtime by yourself. And with our company, I'm not throwing no sales pitch or anything, but we've designed that to help people not only when they're in our supervision, but when they are away from our facility. And that's why we use our app, our FitSpeed app, and we give you at-home exercises, meal plans, different things like that within the app to help guide you when you're away from the facility. So just like I said earlier, just putting yourself in position to put the people around you that can help you and get you to the point where, are you going to count macros? Are you going to count calories? Are you going to do density? Just figuring out what's best for you, because our body, just like that our bodies are different.
Correct.
So just putting ourselves in that position to succeed, and don't set ourselves up where we are going to just go into the gym and overtrain and think we're going to do some of the same things like when I was playing in the NFL. I can't do some of those same things now. But if I'm in the gym with a Kendrick Butler, a professional trainer, that he is more educated in this industry than me, and knowing that, yes, I played in professional football, but it is people out there that are smarter than me still, and being able to lean on them and saying, hey man, hey, my knees are shot, I'm probably gonna have to get my knees replaced one day, and I can tell Kendrick, like, I can't do these plyo lunge squats, the plyo lunges. And what can I do for that? Well, you just need to do regular lunges instead of not doing it. Just being smart. Hey, my foot is hurting right here. Well, sit down and do this. Hitting those same muscle groups and having someone that can show you how to hit some of those same muscle groups in a controlled manner is what it's all about.
Yes, you're really speaking about education, and that's great. And that's why I like having these resources together. So I want to do this, guys. We got about 10 minutes or so left. So I want to do my myths versus facts. This is something that I started on the show many shows ago, but it's my favorite part of the show, because really, as I talked in the beginning, that when health, the reality is navigating through your health can be challenging, and it is challenging for a lot of people. And then that's why we've created what we do. So really what I want to do in this myths versus facts, what I do for those that have been following, they know how this section of the show works. For those that are new, this is how it works. I say a statement, and my panelists say myth or fact. It's going to be kind of rapid fire. You give us a few sentences why it's a myth or a fact, and we kind of go from there. But we're all about trying to clear the air. So here we go. Dr. Jabbar, so just sitting right next to me, you get the first statement.
I love it.
All right. You're like, I'm doing it. I'm in. All right. Here's a statement. Here we go. Quote, I can eat out most nights and stay healthy as long as I make nutritious choices. Is that a myth or a fact? I can eat out most nights and stay healthy as long as I make, quote, and I'm doing nutritious in air quotes, choices.
So I would say it could be a fact and it could be a myth.
Yes.
The problem, I think, with eating out, and Dr. G, our food industry is so complex. And in the restaurant, when you order something, you really don't know what oil that they use. What is this steak that I'm ordering? Is it grass fed? Is it corn fed? What kind of? So I would say that this could be a fact if you know exactly every single ingredient that you're eating. But the fact of the matter, we know this is not practical, because when we go out, we just don't know exactly what's in those ingredients. So which makes the challenges. But I think that, to just say a couple things, I think people can eat out and still be healthy, because we need that social part, right? By making healthier choices. For example, say, hey, listen, and we know, for example, if we delay carbohydrates later, eat a little bit more protein than carbs, our insulin doesn't spike as much. So we can be smart about the order of the way we eat food. Maybe not eat as much bread, or order a little bit something that's leaner protein, for example. So it can be a myth, could be a fact. But the key thing is to know exactly what's in your food.
Excellent. Here we go. Here's a statement for Darcy Johnson. Here we go. Here's a statement. It's okay to exercise every day. Is that a myth or fact? What's your thoughts on that one?
That's a fact.
Yes.
You can do it. Yes. Please clarify. Please go ahead.
And you can do something every day functioning to keep yourself going. And Kendrick broke down the way his philosophy is with training, the 3 steps, and we believe in functional movement. You come to our gym, it's not necessarily like a CrossFit and it's going to be banging, but you can be doing something far as like plyo, and you can be doing cardio one day, you can be lifting weights, but you can stay active every day. Just taking a walk. Me, I'm a big walker now, and I'll put, I'll get on the treadmill, I'll put that thing on 12 incline, like 4 speed, and I'll walk for, 45 minutes, get a good sweat. Sometimes I boost it up a little bit. I put a sweat jacket on just to get, just to flush everything out. But just being active every day and eating and doing the right things, and look at things outside of working out. Like, don't just look at the physical part, but look at the mental part. Like, meditating and just really just putting yourself in position where you can be thinking positive about the next day, and not indulging in eating bad. Working out, that's a part of working out. Being conscious of not putting the bad things in your body.
Excellent.
So
excellent. All right, here we go. Kendrick Butler, here you go. Here's a statement, myth or fact. Here we go. I'm going to pick this one here. I like that. I like this one. Stretch beforehand to prevent injury. What's your thoughts on that?
That's a myth. And the reason why is your muscles and your tendons are like a rubber band. So if you actually stretch on a cold rubber band, you're pulling at it, you could actually injure yourself from that. So we always believe in dynamic warm-ups, then a stretch, the workout, and then another stretch. So that will be a myth.
Excellent.
Dr.
Yeah.
G.
Oh, no, I agree 100% because we were always ingrained in that you got to be stretching. Think about your old days in PE and everything. That's the first thing you did was that. But you're right. Having a dynamic beginning is the way to go. So thank you for clarifying that. So you heard it from Kendrick Butler. That's a myth, y'all. All right, here we go. Dr. Jabbar, here we go. Myth or fact? Breakfast should not be skipped. What's your thoughts on that?
I think that could be a fact. There are some interesting things about this concept of intermittent fasting that I can talk about, but know that breakfast is important to make sure your metabolism keeps going. Having said that, what you eat for breakfast matters, right?
Yes.
So when I say, yes, you have to eat breakfast, and my guys are going in and hitting it with pancakes and waffles and more cereal.
You can't have dessert for breakfast?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's what it sounds like. Sounds like
our
dessert.
breakfast has become dessert, right?
Yes.
So what eating breakfast I think is important, but for example, a common thing I say, 2 eggs and have avocado first thing in the morning, 2 hard-boiled eggs, have avocado. So because my guys are in and out, they want to be in and out quick, right? So they get up, they want to move. So now, for example, at Costco, I'm not sure you guys have looked at, but now they sell these hard-boiled eggs that are pre-packaged together. I don't know. I mean, it's like they read my mind.
It's like in a little green pack.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And by the way, they're cage-free, organic, and all that stuff. You quickly open them up, handful of walnuts or almonds, something like that. If you don't have time for avocado, and out. So some protein, some healthy fat, and go. So breakfast could be very good because if you're eating protein and healthy fat, you're gonna have less cravings later on, and you have more control.
Excellent. Here we go, Darcy Johnson. Here we go. Here's a statement. It's okay to exercise if I have an injury.
That's a fact. That's a fact. You can exercise when you have an injury. That's what you want to do. Rehabilitation, right? You want to be smart about it and consult a doctor.
Yes.
Absolutely before you do it. But definitely one of the things that with football players, we used to get hurt all the time, and it was never take a day off. Our coaches they'll have us do other exercise on other body parts, or they'll have us work the muscles around the injury to help strengthen the injury. So I definitely, I think you can work out with an injury, but you definitely to consult a doctor or a professional. And one thing from Kendrick's one thing, real quick story, Randy Moss never stretched.
Yeah.
He never stretched. Randy Moss, one of the greatest wide receivers.
It's so funny because I would have thought he would have
stretched. As a Packer
stretched.
fan, I didn't know how good he was.
My older brother played.
He used to beat the Bears all the time. So.
Everybody.
My older brother played with him in Minnesota for 5 years, and he told me that story. He was like, "No, Randy Moss don't stretch." He said he's ready when he comes on the field. So
I believe it.
Definitely, man. I just want to add that.
All right. Here's the last statement for Kendrick. Here we go. You shouldn't work out on an empty stomach. Is that myth or fact?
I'm going to pull Dr. Jabbar.
All right, pull Dr. Jabbar.
It's
Go
a
right
myth
ahead.
and a fact. Okay. I would recommend that you do work out with some form of substance in your stomach, something along the lines of maybe a complex carb. I always prefer like oatmeal, and some fruit, something along those lines. But like you said, with the intermittent fasting going on, and the crazes and the success that people have had with that, there are other additional ways to see success with that, but I would highly recommend that you put food in your stomach, because your heart rate can get too high a lot of times. And if you don't have any energy sources for your body to pull from, you can get lightheaded, you can get fatigued, you can get sick, and we never want anybody to have bad experiences when working out.
Excellent. Well, we just got a few minutes left, guys. This has been a great discussion. Let's bring it on home. So I'll start with Kendrick. Just give us a couple quick tips that to have guys out there be successful when it comes to nutrition and fitness. Couple quick words.
Of course. I would say the first thing is definitely increase your water intake. A lot of times you guys aren't drinking enough water. Secondly, increase the amount of meals you have instead of the amount of food you eat per meal. Mm-hmm. And third, you can't do any of that if you don't know what you're eating. So start with the food log, and I encourage everybody to start with the food log, because you never know exactly, how you're eating or what you're doing, so start with the food log, and then you'll be surprised at how little water and how much food you're eating.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. Darcy Johnson, bring us home. Give me a couple quick final thoughts for guys to be successful.
Preparation, just preparing. One of the things I'm working on now myself, and something that Kendrick does very well, he's prepared all his meals for the week. So he's still going, because I don't eat meat. So I don't eat meat. And, so it'd be a challenge for me to get things in, but I do it. But I'll come with like 3 meals. Just what Kendrick said, I need to do a better job myself of having 5 to 6 meals, so I can be eating every 2 hours. So you want to kind of eat more. People think you need to eat less, but you need to eat more, speed it up, and try to, pace yourself. 5 meals a day, eating 5, every 2 hours, that's 10 hours. You go to sleep. Try not to eat after 8 o'clock at night.
Correct.
I like that preparation. Dr. Jabbar, a couple closing remarks. The guys to be successful.
I will say that the guys, watch your carbohydrate intakes from nutrition standpoint. Try to veer away from eating processed food to eating more real food. And I'll tell the guys, just, eat out of the refrigerator, not out of the shelves. The stuff on the shelves is so bad, even bacteria doesn't want to eat it. It could sit there for a long time. So the idea is to eat, watch the carbohydrates, don't be afraid of healthier fats. And the other thing that we didn't talk about a lot, but to start thinking about this word called inflammation. The one thing that ties us all is inflammation. And we know that that's what the root cause of cardiovascular disease and cancer, all that, and exercise reduces inflammation. Eating the right nutrition reduces inflammation. To me, inflammation, what's all about. And last but not least, pay attention to your gut health.
Yes.
Your gut health, and taking maybe high quality probiotics out there.
Excellent. And my final words are this. Listen, this has been a great talking with the guys here, but here's my thoughts for you guys. Losing weight, keeping healthy, it can be hard. Just living healthy is a hard thing. It's a chore. But it's a culmination of behavior that works for you on a daily basis. Keep that consistency. Keep that mindset. Nothing is impossible. When you do this, your life will be changed for the better. And remember also to Starfish. That's cute.
That's right.
Get your Starfish on. I want to start hashtag Starfish, just like that. All right, then. So listen, guys, I want to thank my guests. This has been great. I want to thank my guests, Dr. Zaid Jabbar, MD, double board certified internist and medical pediatrician. Thank you, Dr. Jabbar, for coming back on the show. Darcy Johnson, the champ is in the house, New York Giants Super Bowl champion, entrepreneur, and owner of Fit Speed. Kendrick Butler, the jack of all trades, personal trainer, general manager, Fit Speed Chicago. You know me, Dr. G. Listen, you've been listening and watching live on Facebook and IntellectualRadio.com. This episode is written by Mark D. Gomez, MD, and Tiffany E.R. Gomez. Producer is Tiffany E.R. Gomez. Music is by the wonderful Mr. Havis. Stay tuned for next week's episode. Hey, we're going to bring the thunder again. Next week's episode, Men's Health Series Part 2, Focusing Your Mind, #In the Stigma. Check me out on my website, www.drmarkgomez.com. It's been a pleasure. Peace out.